Imagine your neighbor, you know the one, perfect lawn, vintage car in the driveway, suddenly sells it all. The house, the car, everything he owns, for a dusty, overgrown plot of land. You'd think he's absolutely lost his mind, right? Well, what if I told you that seemingly insane decision was actually a masterclass in value? That's what we're digging into today.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with this wild proposition from an ancient text. Then we'll unpack the hidden history and legal logic that makes it, well, kind of genius. From there, we'll explore the neuroscience that makes a radical move like this even possible. Then we'll look at why most of us don't do it. And finally, we'll see what it all means for you and me right now.
All right, let's set the scene. You've got a guy who liquidates his entire life for a field. Just a field. Now, at first glance, this is completely irrational. It's a massive gamble, but it's not just any gamble. This is what modern investors would call a beautiful, asymmetrical bet.
And here it is, the whole story in one sentence. It's like a tiny one-sentence thriller. A man finds something, hides it, and then, get this, in his joy, sells everything he has. The mystery isn't just about what he found, but why he is so incredibly certain, so joyful about his next move.
So this is the big question, isn't it? Our gut reaction, our first instinct, is probably to call him a fool, to question his judgment. But the story frames his action totally differently, not as an act of desperation, but one of pure, uncontainable joy. He knows something nobody else does.
And this is what makes the whole thing so brilliant. The man isn't being impulsive at all. He's being incredibly shrewd. He has stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime asymmetrical trade. He's not really risking everything. See, in his mind, what he's giving up is practically nothing compared to the infinite reward he knows is waiting for him. It's a secret opportunity nobody else can see.
So, to really understand his insane decision, we have to get our hands dirty, so to speak. And the key isn't some kind of blind faith. Nope. It's buried in the history and, maybe surprisingly, the legal system of the ancient world.
I mean, think about it. In the ancient Near East, there's no national bank, there are no digital vaults, you've got constant instability, Roman tax collectors who can show up whenever they want, and bandits roaming the roads. So where do you keep your life savings? You put it in a jar, and you bury that jar in the ground. The earth itself, that was the safest vault you had.
And here it is, the legal loophole that changes absolutely everything. The man in this story is probably a hired hand, a day laborer. He's out there working a field he doesn't own when his shovel hits something that is definitely not a rock. He knows that under Roman law, if he just shouts, "Hey, look what I found," he could lose it all. But if he can just buy the land itself, everything in it and under it legally becomes his. So he's not just some lucky hiker. He's a strategic investor making a calculated move. So, to put it simply, and yeah, a little humorously, this was the wealth management strategy of the day. This guy wasn't just buying dirt and weeds, he was acquiring a private, pre-funded vault. Everyone else just saw a worthless field, but he saw the deed to a bank. Okay, so we've covered the history and the law. Now let's go even deeper, right inside the human brain. How is a decision this radical, this all-in, even possible from a psychological standpoint? Well, the answer is all about our neurochemistry.
You know, we like to think of ourselves as these really logical creatures, carefully weighing the pros and cons of every decision. But the truth is, we're much more like dopamine-driven valuation machines. Our brains are constantly, subconsciously, reevaluating the worth of everything around us. And that valuation, it can change in a split second.
Remember that word joy from the story? It's not just a feeling, it's the engine driving this whole decision. Neurobiologists like Robert Sapolsky have shown that dopamine, the reward chemical, is actually less about the pleasure of getting the reward and way more about the excitement of anticipating it. That man's joy is the cognitive fuel that makes selling his old life feel not like a sacrifice, but like an exhilarating, necessary step toward a guaranteed future.
And this table just illustrates that massive revaluation that happens in his brain perfectly. Before he finds the treasure, his house, his car, all his prized possessions, they have immense value. But the second he knows what's in that field, they are all instantly devalued. They become, for all intents and purposes, pocket lint. And let's be honest, you don't mourn the loss of pocket lint when you're about to acquire a fortune.
So, if the trade is so obviously a good one, why is it so hard for us to make our own version of it? This next section gets into the powerful psychological barrier that so often stops us from finding, or at least from buying, our own field.
The answer, a lot of the time, is something called the sunk cost fallacy. We cling to our current lives, our careers, our reputations, our comfortable routines, because we've invested so much in them already. The thought of selling it all feels like admitting that all our past effort was a waste, even when we know deep down there's a much better opportunity waiting just over the horizon.
Now check out this incredible contrast. In a different, non-biblical text, the Gospel of Thomas, there's a much darker version of this story. In this one, a son inherits a field that has treasure in it, but he has no idea it's there. He just sees it as dirt, so he sells it cheap. The new owner, of course, starts plowing, finds the treasure, and gets rich. It's a chilling, cautionary tale. You can literally own the field and still die poor if you never dig.
Okay, so let's bring all this home. This story isn't really about literally selling your house. It's about a total psychological and spiritual divestment. It's about letting go of things that ultimately don't matter, in the face of something that truly, deeply does.
So what does that everything pile look like for us today? It's probably not just our physical stuff. It's our intangible assets. It could be our desperate need to always be right in an argument, or our fierce attachment to our political tribe. Maybe it's our paralyzing fear of what other people think, or that carefully curated life we project online. Or maybe it's just our comfort.
And this reveals the crucial point. The great treasure, this kingdom, isn't obvious. It's not some shining city on a hill. It's hidden. It's buried under the mundane dirt of our daily lives, the chores we put off, the tough conversations we need to have, the quiet moments of reflection we usually try to fill with noise. The digging, that's the work.
And that brings us to the final challenging question. If there is a hidden treasure that could reorder your entire life with joy, what are the things you're clinging to that have suddenly become worthless in comparison? What in your life is just pocket lint?